Ayo, Adam, GM. What a day, man. We finally arrived after what, a month of work. I don't. When did you launch Bells Coin? When was that?
December, like what, 12th or 13th, something along those lines. Yeah, 15th maybe. Can't remember.
So it's been 6 weeks up until getting to this point.
Yep.
How
crazy.
Yeah. We have a lot to share. A lot of excitement. It took a lot of people to put this together. But first and foremost, want to make our rounds to all of our lovely co-hosts and guests. Chris, happy Wednesday, man. How you feeling?
Good morning. Good morning. What a day. I can't believe it's only been like a month or a month and a half. Feels like a year or something like that. But yeah, there's so much to showcase, and it's super cool to get into it with Bells. A blockchain that has basically no tooling. It really shows like the strength of Emblem's tech stack and everyone that's been working on this. So super great day today.
Absolutely. Viva, man, it's been maybe what, a month or two since you've been last on the show, man, but we've always been in contact. Thanks for joining us.
That's okay, man. Yeah, it's good to be here, guys. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a month. It seems to be a while, doesn't it? We've been sitting on this gem, but but yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for everyone to see what you guys have been working on and what how it's all looking.
Yeah, it is exciting. This is an idea that actually we've been thinking about at Emblem for a long time, since last summer even. The original tool we'd created for it was for Bitcoin ordinals, and ultimately found that Bells coin, and launching this would be a better product to launch and collaborative opportunities. But first, Adam, man, give us an update on the Bells coin community, man. 6 weeks into this, I saw they teased a post yesterday about merge mining. Is that like the latest news that's getting the community excited?
Well, very soon after we kind of relaunched the blockchain, it became very apparent that it would need to be updated very rapidly. Simply because the tech is literally 2013 tech. And so the same problems that Dogecoin had with stalling, which is basically when you don't have enough hash power to solve for a block, that same problem, we faced the exact same thing. And some Dogecoin developers told us right off the bat, look, this problem is going to hit you fast, especially because the amount of hash rate that went up very, very quickly just opened it wide open for what happens is people know exactly how much the reward is for each Bells block. That's really the crux problem is that some blocks give you 50 Bells reward and some give you 10,000, right? So those ones, when those 10,000 blocks are coming, literally miners just flood hash power in trying to win that block. And then once it's won, they remove the hash power. And what happens is the difficulty doesn't adjust quick enough. And so what you get is you basically get blockchain freeze, which is a block just can't be solved. And we've had blocks take 3 hours, 4 hours to solve. It's like, for people who don't really, it's like trying to guess a lottery number, right? If the lottery is only, 100, up to 100, well, I can guess it in 5 minutes, 1, 2, 3, right? But if it's this huge number, you need a huge number of computers guessing the number, right? And so that's like a huge issue. And we knew about it right from the beginning, and tried to figure out ways to kind of avoid merge mining, if at all possible, because we know once you go to merge mining, basically the cost of mining goes to near zero because these people are already mining anyway. And so it's going to put downward pressure on the price of the coin. But at the end of the day, who cares? You need a blockchain that can function, right? And so, it's in the works. It's being worked on. Basically, this upgrade will merge mine Bells with either Litecoin or Dogecoin. I don't know if that's been decided yet. As well as put in this protocol which allows the difficulty adjustment to basically happen on a block by block basis, which will, in theory, do away with this stalled block scenario, which Bells has faced tremendously. I mean, it's literally the last few weeks with the amount of people trying to inscribe and this variation in hash rate. It's just been, it's like I've tweeted about, it's basically a non-function. It barely functions as a blockchain. It's probably the least functioning blockchain right now. I can't imagine, it's like we could lump along like this. And the problem is that it'll lump along like this. And it doesn't get us to the point where we can, where the actual epochs happen, where the halvenings happen. Everything is kind of delayed because of this. So that's kind of currently where we are right now. And I'm hearing it'll take between a week to 2 weeks to get the merge mining fully implemented. That's the idea.
Dude, we've got like a human centipede of merge mining. You got Dogecoin merge mined with Litecoin, right? And then if you're gonna merge mine Bells coin with Litecoin, Dogecoin, it's just ABC kind of merge mining.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well,
go ahead.
wouldn't you be able to merge mine all three at the same time?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So if you have an A6
Oh.
miner, you can you're basically doing all three at the same time. That's exactly right. Yep.
Interesting. So outside of the technical aspects and the improvement of a non-functional blockchain, right? I guess we're launching this vault pad in this project, which I'll go into the details here shortly, but I want to catch up everybody on the ecosystem and what led us to this position and what I believe personally, this is my own speculation, as the vault pad of being a key breakthrough to cross-chain tooling and infrastructure. I've researched this. I usually stay pretty careful when it comes to saying the world's first or crypto's first, but I've done research and I've not found anything like this out there. So, but first we're going to add a little bit of preface to what led us here, and also just the ongoing developments of Bell's coin, which is interesting, and Bellinals. So from the cultural layer, right, what you need there is generally NFTs and fungible tokens that exist on top of it, right? With the advent of Bitcoin ordinals, found a way to apply that to Bell's coin. And I have here pulled up on the screen Ordinal Wallet, which is the top marketplace. I guess the only marketplace really.
Yep.
For Bell's coin assets or Bellinal based assets. And you look here and the volume's actually, quite low. Again, because of a lot of the layer one issues that exist, but it looks like you have Bell 20, which is Nook, which is was this the first one that was minted, Adam, or is this the one that's just like that has the most supply?
It has a huge supply. Basically, will require 100 million inscriptions to mint out. So this is like the foundational layer. It was the first one minted as well. So this is, the Ordi of Bell's coin, right? Done by actually Ordinals Wallet themselves. They did this. I've said it before. I think smartly, because they're making money on the minting, and they're making Bell on the minting, right? So it's this kind of, for them, it's a nice cycle. This is their basically like investment in the ecosystem, right? Is you launch the Nook token, huge amount of inscriptions are required. It's basically going to be the base layer token for Bell's coin. And we've talked about it a lot. Like, it's very possible Nook has a bigger market cap than Bell's itself. Like, that's completely possible. It's at like 25 million inscriptions right now. And, but the blockchain itself, and anybody who's used Ordinal Wallet knows, like, man, people have had transactions stuck for literally days on Ordinal's Wallet, like literally days, like 4 or 5, 6, 7 days, because obviously they're falling behind maybe on their tech a little bit. But again, the blockchain is just so clunky, I guess you'd say. So.
Right. So, I have here pulled up, right? We're going to do total volume for these collections. So Bell 20 is literally probably 100 times more volume than anything else here. But in terms of Bellinals, or the inscriptions, the quote unquote NFTs, you have Bell's avatars, which has a total volume of 13,000 bells, which is literally like, what, $800 worth?
Probably. It's like 20 cents a bell, right? I don't know, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like talking hundreds of dollars, right? Then you have the second leading one, which is Bell's coin punks, which that's just a standard in inscription ecosystems. 9,000 or about 10,000 bells, which is literally $200 in volume. So you could see, right, even Bell's Rocks is lower. And we see some unique ones like Hell's Bells, which is our homies, that they said they were inspired of Hell's Bells because of our conversation we had with them. That's even at only 200 bells, right? So you're talking literally less than $100 in volume. And again, it's part of this probably due to the infrastructure, but people are participating in it, right? So Adam and I, as Bells began to grow, we wanted to contribute to the ecosystem in some capacity. And so we figured out, like, how can Emblem participate in this? How can we have a creative launch partner? And how can we contribute, right, in terms of a PFP to the community? And so we had this tooling that it had existed and we had built originally for Bitcoin ordinals, which is this inscribe to vault technology. So basically you inscribe whether you're on Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Bells coin, and it mints it or sends it directly to a vault that's minted, right? So it is inscribed, it's a native asset on Bells, and you receive it on Ethereum, right? And of course, right now we're aware that Ethereum is, I guess, at its low point culturally. A lot of the liquidity is left to Bitcoin and to Solana for the most part. But what this does is this enters the multi-chain or cross-chain ecosystem, so that when we do deploy on Bitcoin ordinals and when we do deploy on Solana and all these other L2s, you'll be able to move these what we're calling EmBells, a 10K PFP collection. Art is done by Viva, which we'll talk about here in a second. You'll be able to move them with a click of a button to Solana, to Bitcoin, to these Ethereum L2s. And we'll be revealing all of that. So you guys are actually getting the first information here at the Emblem Town Hall tomorrow, which we're going to be unveiling our jump tool, which allows you to move any asset, any vaulted asset across different blockchains simply with the click of a button, right? So really, really cool, innovative technology. And so as we progressed, I think we decided on doing EmBells first as a joke towards the end of December, but then we were like, oh, we should really take this serious. We were unsure of like how the progress of the community or of the blockchain would go in the community. And we've learned from Emblem's perspective, the best way to launch a product is to also do it with creative partners and also have a project for individuals to use. Some of our prior learnings of 2023 was you got to launch it with you got to launch a product with a project, or else everyone's going to look at it and move on. No one cares. I just want to ape into something, right?
Yeah, who gives a shit. Yep.
So we first reached out to Viva, as he's a close friend of ours and also loves his art, and we said, hey, would you be interested in doing a 10K PFP with us, generative, with the theme of Bells coin? And to our surprise, Viva had said that he was actually looking into this already, and he happily participated. And so, Viva, I'd like to pass it off to you a little bit about your experience of creating EmBells and also your interest in Bells coin.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I was already aware of it because I follow Adam. As Adam's a big fan of Bitcoin stamps, I feel like I have to follow him and listen to him. So I was aware of Bells coins and how people were going crazy. The volume was starting to pick up. So I was already looking at it. And then when you contacted me about that, I started thinking, and I thought I wanted to do something that wasn't a punk collection, because I thought we've probably got enough of them already. So I thought, let's not do that to the people. So I took the logo and started playing around with it. I knew, obviously, from my experience doing stamps and stuff, to try and keep it at a very small size, as small as possible. So I was just trying to see what we could do with the logo, and if it could work to try and turn it into a little character, and then get as many different features on there and switch them up and sort of play around with it. And it worked really well. I think it lent itself to being a character quite naturally. So, and I thought it looked kind of cute as well. So from there, yeah, just went through and got all of the assets done in pixels, and yeah, had fun doing it, really. I like it. I'm really proud of it as a project. I think they all look really cool.
Yeah, we were just putting, in the early days of us discussing it, we weren't even sure like the file size, like how big you could do. Remember, we were talking about, we were basically saying, let's mimic what's possible on Doge, right? Because we were really uncertain about file sizing, right? And how big it was going to be able to be. And I think you did an amazing job, man. So, thanks so much. I appreciate it, dude.
I'm gonna tease the art here, maybe halfway through, but give us some details of what type of traits exist in the EmBells collection.
We've got a bunch of different ones. A bunch of ones like the glasses, different mouths, a few different costumes in there, a few different references to Dogecoin as well, and yeah, just a lot of different fun ones. A few different teeth and stuff like that in there. I think once people like, I've tried to switch it up as well, so I'm not just copying ones that have obviously been in other collections and just repeating stuff. I thought that was more, I wanted to do something original. I wanted to do something that was unique to that rather than just recycling something. So, which actually, when the pixel size is that small, is pretty hard to do because a lot of stuff has already been ticked off.
Yeah, it is. I really do like the art and, the 10K aspect to it. Your art is always incredible. And you've become, one of the leading stamp artists. And also congratulations on your, the memes drop with 6529. It's, you've been growing.
Yeah, that was a
consistently.
good start to the year.
Big start.
Yeah, no, it's going well so far. And I've still got a few things up my sleeve for the start of this year. But yeah, I was really pleased to be on board with this, and I was really pleased you guys asked me to do it. And can't wait for everyone to see him.
Yeah, me too. And so there's two other launch partners that we had with this. So I want to make sure that I give everyone credit because this is took a little bit to get to where we are today. Again, about a month. So we don't have EmBells here, but EmBells is the one who had created BellScribe, I believe it's called, right? BellScribe, which was the I guess I don't know if he beat Ordinal's wallet to the punch or not, is the first inscription tool, but I guess he's the sole creator, right? It's like an individual inscription platform for bells. I don't know, Adam, you have a little bit more.
In context, he was basically there were a number of devs who were trying to be the first to inscribe on bells, right? Because obviously there's a financial incentive for being the first. And Graham had experience with Litecoin. When we were doing the Litecoin ordinals, he built one of the inscription tools for Litecoin. So he was one of the devs actively trying to be the first to inscribe and actually was the first to inscribe. And so he now has the rocks. I think almost all of the first 100 are rocks that he inscribed. He actually did launch the first inscription tool. Ordinal's wallet, launched theirs, an hour later type of thing. So there was that race. And just a generally great dude. He was in the Hell's Bells Discord last night. We had a great chat with him last night. Really good dude. And obviously you can get into now how he helped us, put this all together. Big part of putting this together for us.
Yeah, it's been interesting. So he had to create actually a custom API that integrated with our API, which is the Inscribe to Vault API. And he just happily obliged. He was very eager to take it on. It's funny because we were talking with him when BellsCoin had first started, and he had mentioned that he wanted to work full-time in crypto and that he would do pretty much anything possible to make that happen. And it's really been cool to follow his progress to a degree where that, on the path that he's on now will exactly happen. So if you go to BellScribe, it's interesting. Not only did he inscribe the first Bellscription, he also started a sub, I don't know, is that sub 1000 or sub 100 collection, which is called Bell Rockers.
Yep.
He added a leaderboard to BellScribe, which I have here pulled up on the live stream that you can see the points, which I believe if you're one of the highest inscribers, then you get some of those like sub 1K rocks. But the tooling's been pretty nice. You can inscribe any type of file, text, tokens, domains, right? It has all of the standards. The interesting thing for me using this, and I've been using over the last few days, is the nooks per byte or per V byte.
Yeah.
Is just it changing that framing from using sats per V byte, right? And then you go to Doge and it's sheeps per V byte and all these other ones, and it's all these different metrics. It takes a second to really understand what's going on. But I know the delivery of the time we've been toying around with it. So when you do mint on this, which we'll go into in the end, you're basically minting a vault and then it's inscribing to the vault. So you still have to wait for the blockchain to process the inscription, which I don't know, Adam, how long has it been taking usually?
Look, this could be like this morning. I think we tested one this morning and it took like 30 seconds, right? Like that's how the blockchain should function. But man, it might be 4 hours, like literally, or longer, right? Because if there's a huge queue, and we've had queues of, 250,000 inscriptions waiting to be inscribed, like, just nuts. I mean, you're looking on the Bell Scribe right now, and the low is 4,500 nooks per byte. We've seen it up to like 15,000 nooks per byte, which is just completely bonkers. When we first started, and I think I did like a Bell Scribe how to. I mean, it was like 100 nook to byte or something. It was crazy. It was like a penny to inscribe, right? So yeah, it's wild times. I think obviously getting the merge mining up will do a big change to the blockchain, but also then minting out Nook, I think will free this up, because this is just, look, I know for a fact there are several people out there who are just max minting. They have their computer running. They are just minting as many Nook as humanly possible. And, making that play, because we've seen it on other chains. And if Bells survives and, BRC20s on other chains take off and Nook takes off at all, right? And you mint this thing for pennies, we've seen the 5,000, 6,000x kind of returns, which are possible.
Yeah, I think Bell's coin probably has the highest upside of any inscription.
Well, the reality is it has the biggest risk, like period, full stop. There is the biggest risk. Bell's coin is the most risky blockchain on the planet. Would not be far from the truth. Like, it's very possible. So big risk, big reward.
And so without further ado, our last launch partner as well, right? So if you think about the progress, and I like to educate everyone as well of how these things work on the back end. To me, education is really important, so you understand what's going on here, especially when you're trying something that's never been done before, right? It's different than launching an NFT project where you're trying to build as much hype as possible. When you're dabbling with new technology, you want a preview, you want an explanation of what's really going on under the hood here, because some people might actually find it a little bit more appealing, but also inspire some others to build as well, right? So Emblem had an inscription tool, right, that we had built for Bitcoin ordinals. Said, hey, let's try this for Bells. Viva did the art. We had Graham Bells built a custom API to integrate with our API. And then we said, okay, how do we package this all together, right? How do you distribute this kind of product? And if you remember, if you're savvy, or if you've been participating in the Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem, there's this thing that's called first is first, right? The first to mint. And you remember how Bitcoin punks minted, and stamp punks, and all these other punks, right? And this is still like a very common way to distribute assets. Yep. So we said, okay, how do we apply this here? Obviously, Emblem right now exists on Ethereum, but we want to keep that ethos of first is first kind of method. So we reached out to a handful of teams, and we ended up meeting Dememetree, who I have here pulled up on the screen, so make sure you guys give him a follow. He's been a very awesome person to work with, who's in the what are the Doogies community. He also had experience with Stamp Punks Mint. If you are familiar with that, I pulled this up here to the top. Stamp Punks had a very successful mint. I actually minted or stamped, I guess, a few of these as well. And so we said, all right, cool. We have now the front end. And so we worked with him, and we had to go back and forth a lot, and he had to wait on us for a little while to put it all together, to now package it all together in a nice little front end, right? And there's a handful of mechanics to this, but Adam, should I tease them the website and see what they think? If you guys are watching it on the live stream, I'll pull it up here for a second. You can see Stamp Punks, and then you'll see what we have. And then we'll discuss kind of the launch here in a second. And all right, here we go. Boom. EmBells, right? This is what you guys will be minting. And so I want to take you guys through it. Obviously, we have not launched this yet. So for example, and I'll explain this a few times. Our town halls tomorrow, we're currently going through the last testing. Kind of how this works, when you're trying to line up marketing and testing and development, it is extremely hard to do. So we need another 12 hours to finalize everything. But we wanted to still present this information because we'll have a town hall tomorrow as well. But we will, there we go. Bells Boy says Bells Coin LFG. So you can see here on the screen, right, that a few of them have been minted already because we're still testing it. But what we're going to do tomorrow, right, we have the Emblem Town Hall, which we're going to unveil a lot of things there. Our marketplace, or at least the progress of our marketplace, of the front end, vault pad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this lines up actually right perfectly. But what we'll do is a few hours before that, we'll post in the Bells Coin Discord and in the Emblem Discord for those that will be interested. So you can come in and first mint whichever ones that you feel are nice. So here you go. You could see kind of these pages. Again, that's when we'll tease the website and everything like this, but I want to walk you through what it looks like, right? So you have all of these cool traits. Again, the art to me is fantastic. Solid PFP for those that can go on. And so what you do here, similar to how Stamp Punks and Bitcoin Punks worked, but this is all on Ethereum, right? So you click the one that you want, and it'll pull up here and it says, please do not reload or leave the page. And then you'll be presented with a mint item or a mint. And so this is on Ethereum. I want to keep that, or I want to make sure that you're aware of this, right? You're paying in ETH and you're going to have the asset delivered in Ethereum on a vault, but it is a Bells Coin native asset. I know for some people that might be confusing, but the process is this, right?
How does blockchains work?
It's even confusing for me, right? So basically how the process works, you pay in ETH, the price, the vaulting fee is $25, right? And the $25 is being shared between all the parties that have participated. And then you have to pay ETH gas fees. So from what we've seen last night, when gas was around 15, it came out to about $30. And when gas was at 30, it came out to about $45, right? So a little bit more of a premium price comparative to free mints and stuff like that. If you're on, if you're on Bitcoin ordinals, generally to even just inscribe something of this file size is going to be $50 or more. So we wanted to keep it competitive, right? Bell's boy says gas fees. No, right? Yeah, you gotta. We right now where we are, right? We have to participate with Ethereum, but that's where all the innovation happens. But as we said, as this is an official, and we're going to treat this as an official Emblem collection in collaboration with all of our partners. Once we deploy on Solana, once we deploy on Bitcoin ordinals this year, you'll be able to move these assets to those ecosystems, right? And some of our longer term goals here with this vault pad, we've had some people ask us, hey, can I inscribe on Dogecoin and have it vaulted on Solana so I could go trade, right? Same thing with Bitcoin ordinals. They're like, hey, can I inscribe on Bitcoin and have it delivered on Solana? That seems to be, everyone wants it delivered on Solana. It seems to be what everyone's asking for, probably because of cheap fees and also just like that ecosystem is really, really booming, right? So we want to respect everybody in terms of like where they want their or where they want their native asset delivered, because I do think that has kind of a very, very large impact in terms of the culture behind the assets. But as we believe at Emblem Vault, and I think a lot of people here believe, we are moving to a multi-chain and cross-chain future to where, hey, if EmBells becomes the premier collection, right, on Bells Coin, and it's worth, X amount of dollars, but the Bells Coin infrastructure ecosystem is quite limited. Hey, maybe I want to go take my Bells Coin, or I want to take my EmBells to Ethereum and go borrow against it on Arcade, right? Or I want to go gamble with it on LooksRare and their Gamblify products, or I want to go take it over to whatever Solana protocol exists, and I want to go play with it in Solana's metaverse, or I want to go hang it up in my OnCyber gallery. These are the things that you will be able to do. And so here, this is making history. I guess I'll go out and say it, right? Making history here. It's been really, really fun. I'm excited to see where this goes. And the art is fantastic. And, this is our contribution to the Bells Coin ecosystem. And we're going to use EmBells as a way to really test the limits of what, cross-chain functionality really can be. So make sure you're paying attention in the morning tomorrow to the Bells Coin Discord. It'll come from Adam's account, nobody else's account in the EmBells Discord. So if it's not coming from his account, do not believe it in anybody. But
yeah,
Adam, tell me your experience on this, and also just being, the front guy in Bell's Coin and watching everything happen. Like, how are you feeling about this drop? And then I'll scroll through some of the EmBells while you talk.
Yeah, well, I think most importantly, what this is any sort of cross-chain stuff we've seen so far is kind of after the fact, right? So you think I initially my brain goes to on-chain Monkey and what they're doing, right? Or I go to DGods and what they did, right? But all of those, the kind of movement across chain, I mean, we can get into the burning aspects and do we like burning? And typically collectors don't. But the idea is that, okay, they minted a collection, they had a collection, then they were like, actually, we're not super fond of the blockchain we're on, we want to move it, right? And so they've used those and had those done in different ways through burning mechanisms and stuff. What we're doing here is, from the very beginning, we're saying people will want to move these across chain. So what we're doing is the actual mint itself is prepared for cross chain. It's minted immediately cross chain. And then in the future, the world is your oyster. Like, you're going to be able to move this stuff across chain. And so, it's kind of the culmination of what we've been talking about for, 9 months, which is like, how do we build something that natively just moves assets? And this is it. I mean, this is like, it's such a big first step. It's kind of funny that it's tied around, the ultimate meme coin, Bell's coin. What is this? This is stupid, because that's kind of crypto in a nutshell. But then at the same time, we are building this incredibly important functionality, which anybody who believes in a cross-chain, multi-chain future, at your core, this has to happen. We just haven't figured out how yet, right? And we're using bridges and all this sort of stuff. We're presenting the way we think that it's going to work. And man, I couldn't be more pumped. Like, dude, this is like, it's incredible. Like, even take something very simple. You're launching a collection on Solana, and you actually want it on Solana. You could launch with us and yet launch into an Emblem vault, and it's immediately ready for your collectors to move it to Bitcoin Ordinals, Ethereum, Bell's Coin, whatever, right? How awesome is that? Like, that is the future. And like, we're here. We've built it. We're building it. And I couldn't be more pumped about that, man.
We're here. We're here. Man. We're here and we're proud. Yeah. So essentially, you call it out of the box, cross-chain or multi-chain. It's interesting, as Adam and I have now been at Emblem for the last 15 months or so. There's Emblem's kind of been evolving into two different directions. First, it comes in and it helps, immature blockchains or new protocols come in and be able to exist, right? So like we'll use Bell's Coin as an example. When a protocol or a blockchain restarts or is created, the first thing that happens is assets are minted, right? Assets are created, values being created, but then it needs a wallet to exist in, and then it needs a marketplace to trade, right? So that users could come in and get exposure to it. So Emblem has come in and satisfied this degree multiple times, right? In 2021 with Namecoin, with Counterparty, with Doge Party, with Mona Party, right? That was lightning striking 4 times in 1 year, essentially, right? To the degree of 30,000 ETH traded in 2021. And then, had a little bit of a lull. And then Emblem went and tried Polygon and deploying on BNB, right, for cheaper fees. And then in 2023, lightning struck again like 4 times, right? Bitcoin Ordinals came in, and then it was Bitcoin stamps. Then it was ETH subscriptions, right? And then now here, Bell's Coin, right, towards the end of the year, I'm coming in and satisfying to the degree that we help. But once an ecosystem matures, finally, right, Emblem's participation in that ecosystem or its right, the requirement of Emblem to trade is not needed anymore. So then it's like, okay, how does Emblem improve different blockchains once a native ecosystem is beginning to mature, right? Like, for example, Bitcoin Ordinals has already surpassed what the requirement of needing Emblem to exist, right? ETH subscriptions has now surpassed the existence of Emblem and stamps is starting to get there. Eventually, Counterparty will be there, right? Once they have PSBTs and all these different things. So how does Emblem improve? And so for that, right, for me, and kind of where we're leading this is importing and exporting value, right? Almost in similar realm of, interoperability protocols like bridges and wraps and vaults, right? Vaults are kind of the third type. So with this launchpad, right, Emblem is immediately satisfying all three of those in one now, right? You're getting stage 1 and stage 2 Emblem right out of the box. You're getting the immediate support for wallet support. You're getting immediate trading support. And now you're getting, immediate access to the ecosystem right here for Ethereum, right? So now you can go ahead and then borrow against that on Arcade, as I said, right? Or go to YOLO on LooksRare, or et cetera, et cetera. And this is how we see this evolving, right? Eventually stamps, right? Maybe a new stamps collection is going to want to mint to Ethereum because they want to participate in a game, et cetera. So we're excited for this. I know this product will evolve. There's a handful of people over the last 8 months or so, or last year, that had been approaching us about this type of idea. And originally we had built it for Bitcoin Ordinals, but the original person we had built it for, their team just got really busy. And so props to them. And yeah, this is kind of where we're going. So tomorrow morning, again, in the EmBells Discord and in the Emblem Discord, we will post the mint details to where you could go in and mint your EmBells. Again, it comes out to about 0.02 ETH per mint, right? You have a $25 vaulting fee, which gets split between and shared between all the launch partners, as we discussed. We also had to go a little bit higher, right? Vaulting fees are $20. We had to do $5 because we were really uncertain on the inscription costs for Bells coin. So we had to add a little bit of a buffer there, and we'll be able to tool around with this, right? So you think about kind of, speculating in the future, even past this. It's a way for users to come in and launch their project. Now with royalties going to 0, right, you could play with that vaulting fee, and now you can essentially, raise some capital if you're a project owner and launch it, right? Or you could do 0 vaulting fees, right? There's a lot of different options here that you could toy around with as we move forward. And again, this vault pad and this project will be complementary of a lot of things that we'll be sharing tomorrow at the Emblem Town Hall, right? How does this complement Emblem Markets, right? Our chain agnostic marketplace. How does this complement our new front end of Emblem.finance, right? How does this complement our app store, which is going to be in the marketplace? There's a lot of unique aspects to this, right? How does Koval intertwine into this? How does Redacted? And we have a few other things that we want to unveil as well. I couldn't be more excited. There'll probably be a lot of bumps along the road, right? As Emblem's been scaling. For sure, right? There's nothing that's ever, completely out of the box. But what I like here is that, there's kind of two multi-chain theses that are happening right now. There's like cross-chain, and then there's omni-chain, right? And so with omni-chain, it's essentially like you create your protocol using layer 0, or I forget what the other one is. There's another one, but you're using their protocol and it exists in their infrastructure. And then you could go move to all these other chains. But what we believe is that provenance matters. And so with this type of technology and where it's going, you get to choose where your asset exists and where the culture and the provenance is created. And then you could go move it wherever you want. Where the omni-chain one is using their infrastructure, you could go then take it there, but it exists specifically on their protocol. And, which thesis is right? To be determined, really.
To be determined. It's going to be interesting to see, if we do, part of the thesis of last kind of bull run was, and it's the current thesis of Bitcoin Ordinals is you want to mint it on the most secure chain, or for Ethereum, you want it on the L1, right? And certainly you can see with high value art and stuff like that, completely makes sense. But if I'm a game, right, I might just want it on the cheapest one available, right? But I want to be able to reach people on other chains as well. So very excited to see where this goes. And we might, the market eventually decides which it likes better. And I'm very excited to start working with creators and projects and stuff, who want to mint on whatever. They want to mint on Psy because it has, or Say because it's super cheap. It's the cheapest of cheap, right? And fast trading times, or, or whatever, or Solana or whatever, it's going to be really interesting to see how this develops over the next 6-8 months.
Emblem, we've decided, we build tools and we'll put it out there for builders to utilize the way that they figure out is best. But we're also going to introduce products alongside it. And this is why we're happy to, launch with Viva and EmBells and Dememe Tree to work this together, because you need project partners. You can't do this together. We're not a company that's raised $100 million and we just have an unlimited amount of capital, right, to do this. We need to do this with community members, to do this in a decentralized way. And so we could kind of build to that. To me, this vault pad and this multi-chain future, it kind of leads to this idea that it makes every marketplace competitive across all marketplaces and not just the ecosystem wide. And what I mean by this is OpenSea has a 2.5% fee, right? They're going to, and on the other side, you have Magic Eden that's doing an enforced marketplace, or what is it? Royalty enforced marketplace, right? And so if you have an ETH asset, how does that affect you? You could essentially say, yo, fuck this. I don't agree with any of this. I'm just going to go take it to Solana and I'll just go trade with zero fees over there, right? So it makes every single marketplace, every single protocol across all chains competitive, right? And what does that do? It makes a better user experience, makes a better trader experience. And it's going to make it, much more difficult for marketplaces, protocols, builders. It will definitely create a more competitive landscape. Whether that is fully satisfied or realized this year, next year, the other year, it's inevitably what's coming, right? We're kind of in this opinion that, royalties have gone to zero. Marketplace fees are probably heading towards that direction as well. You could just see this with like different types of tokenization. And so how do you quote unquote escape that ecosystem, right? That's going down to zero, is you go explore other ecosystems and go find the other types of opportunities. So it's cool. Ultimately, right, kind of how I see it is as gas fees and miner fees increase in price over, right, to Bitcoin, it'll probably be at some point consistently over 200 or 300 and will never go back. A lot of users are probably going to want to inscribe on Bitcoin because it's, it's the most pristine collateral. At least that's kind of what's being pitched at, is high art. And you'll have it delivered on Solana for the most. It's kind of where I see this is going. You'll have it delivered on Solana. You'll trade in a frictionless environment, very low gas fee environment, and you'll go do your trading and whatever over there. And whenever you want to go bring it back to Bitcoin to go trade natively or to go participate in your ecosystem or whatever, that's how you do it. So that's the vault pad. That's the vision. We will cover some of this tomorrow as well, but stay tuned for it. Man, I couldn't be more excited. I'm excited to actually just get back to what Emblem does best, which is just really innovating. It's what it's done for a long time. It's funny, we were posting, we just launched curated collections for like 13 Bitcoin ordinals. And Chris was messaging yesterday and he's like, how come a lot of the ordinal people aren't really interacting with it right now? And it's like, we have to give them an incentive to show why it's possible or why it's important. And right now Ethereum's kind of on its right, it's getting beaten pretty bad. People think Ethereum's literally dead. But for us, right, Ethereum is our home base. And so once it's introduced to Ethereum, then it can be applied to all these other chains. And yes, I know the gas fee environment it's not, not ideal, right? It's not ideal for any of us. But I think Ethereum will figure it out over time. And right now it just has the best infrastructure kind of that exists. So I want to make some rounds to some of the people on stage. Chris, you've been with us for the vault pad, right? You joined the team a few months ago. You've seen kind of since the inception of the idea to where we are today. As our Solana expert, what are your thoughts on the vault pad and just how I am this technology?
Jake, man, I mean, multi-chain out of the box is one of the most insane developments that I've seen in crypto, and something that we've been looking forward to since we started so many years ago. As a collection owner, you should be able to launch on the chain that you most agree with, that has the best attributes that you're looking for. But as a user buys your collection, they shouldn't be confined to those kind of communities. They should be able to venture off into whatever ecosystems have the best benefits for whatever they're looking to do. And so, if you're in some sort of, think of them as maybe hometowns or different towns, competing towns, if you're looking for a mortgage, you're going to you're browsing mortgages online, you're going to go with the loan that has the best terms. Well, if there's better terms for your assets on Solana or on Ethereum or on Bitcoin, you should be able to take advantage of those, really access the liquidity across different chains. And so with something like the Vault Pad, right out of the box, you're giving the collection owner, the power to launch where they would like to. But then at the same time, you're giving the users the ability to move freely across these chains without really disrupting the provenance. So like we talked about yesterday, as people, really see how this can benefit them and how it really changes the whole dynamic of, all of these chains and all of the applications that are built upon them, I think people are going to be really, really excited. I just think that it's, launches like this are what it's going to take for people to really realize how powerful something like the Vault Pad it really can be. And so Emblem's technology is next level. You guys have been working at this for a long time. I couldn't be more excited about the things that we have coming. So really, really, really pumped on it.
Ooh, let's go. That gets me hyped. Dogfather, man, good to see you, bro. What are your thoughts? I know we hadn't. Oh, are you on stage? I know you might not be on stage. It looks like it was showing that on the video. Who else do we have on stage here? Do we have Diego? Just wanted to get your thoughts on it. What do you think of the Vault Pad? Appreciate you for coming on stage.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, no, wow, constructive conversation, amazing. It's a nice conversation. And, long story short, it's these are all tools. This is innovation, technology, whatever you might want to call it. But even through the auction house back in 2017, 2018, we're here for a reason, and it's very exciting. It's very motivating knowing that there's people caring, doing something with life itself, so, like as cheesy might sound, the Jolly Roger is there for a reason. There's something happening, and having the emblem there, for the rare Pepes, having them come through from the XCP and the ETH bridge or whatnot. It's exciting. It's very, very exciting. And just coming through from just a nature guy, going camping, and I'm here in Alaska, and nature speaks truth. But yet again, technology it's happening. It's the sentience. There's something going on, but all of us showing up, there's something going on. So I just want to keep this short. But
there is something going on, man. Something is happening. Yes, man. Something is happening.
Yeah. The nature boy. The nature boy.
Just thank you all, motherfuckers, for showing up, and absolutely from the Solana boys and the ETH boys, and there's from it's exciting times, and let's all do something with it. And I'm proud to be here with all of y'all, and let's see what happens. Who knows? But big things happening behind the scenes. So thank you all for being consistent, being professional, and showing up. This is nice. This is very, very nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's very heartwarming. It's exciting, man. There's so much that's been happening behind the scenes, and I've learned over the last 15 months of being on the the business or company side of things that it's tough, shutting your mouth certain times, actually a lot of times, to be honest. But building and being on the frontier of new products where there's really no roadmap for any of this stuff.
Right.
There's literally zero out there, right? When you're on the kind of frontier of this, and it gets frustrating at times. And right, 10,000 EmBells to mint for this specific, right? That's a lot of work. Will it mint out immediately? Probably not. But is it something that we're going to put our full support behind? Yeah, absolutely. We'll when we have it on Emblem Markets, will the page be there to mint? Yeah, absolutely. It's not something, this isn't something that we're just like dropping. This is our launch. We're taking ownership over this collection, and EmBells will be, you know, the first real official kind of Emblem collection outside of the test one that we've done before. So yeah, just very, very exciting times. Dogfather, man, what's good, bro? Good to see you.
Hey, GM guys. Yeah, I think we should all be in Alaska with our Jeff friend. I think we would have a great time all together. Yeah, just wanted to comment on this curated ordnance collection. So I think the Bitcoin ordnance community is really kind of proud and fond of themselves that they now have their native marketplaces and stay on BTC. So I think this is a very special situation. So I'm you know, there's no wonder that it's not like that popular at the moment, because it's just like this huge hype and the huge momentum, and you know, pure BTC, everything orange. So probably, you know, not the easiest, I would say, curated collection. And yeah, so this is just my 2 cents on that. And yeah, looking forward to that drop. Yeah, let's grab some. Let's you know, test it out. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think so much is especially in crypto, we get a lot of the conversations tend to be like dev led, which lose so many of us behind this, like what it could be with a ZK roll up, optimism, blah blah blah, right? And the reality is people need use cases. They need to see stuff happen, and like there is no substitute for that. And I think what we're doing here, while it feels very familiar, okay, it feels like, how is this any different than a rare Pepe, right? The difference is that it's intentionally, the entire collection gets minted directly into a collection on Emblem Vault, right? And therefore, then when we want to move it to Solana, you know, this is just, it's the use case that will allow people to see, oh wow, wait a minute, I can bring it to Ordinals, I can bring it to Solana. What is this, right? And give creators, right? We don't want to run NFT projects, right? We want creators to use our tooling to build on top of us, right? And so we're just giving this first very simple use case so that people can start thinking about, well, what does this look like? A true multi-chain future where I can take entire projects across different chains, and my people can, whoever holds them can bring them anywhere they want, right? And the reality is we don't know what that's going to look like in the future, right? And we want people to be creative and build on top of us, right? So we're just giving this like first use case, and hopefully some exciting stuff will happen in the next year on top of it.
Well, you know, and that's really cool, man. You know, it's just coming from the photography, you know, artistic side of things, you know, being here on Twitter Spaces, even before Twitter Spaces was, you know, it's very interesting. But what do they call it? The Solana boys, right? The Solana vibe. Wow, there's like some pretty amazing people behind supporting the Solana vibe, and they're all different blockchains, or most won't call it blockchains, whatever. But there's artists that are like there, and they're showing up consistently, and it's you know, a big party that is the Street Dreams Mag, Amos, and you know, it's there's a big forest within everything and everyone. So, you know, it's just, long story short, these are all tools, and why not welcome everyone into coming together and making impact for future generations to learn from and do something with that. So it's you know, it's not like, you know, ETH is better than this and that. Like, what?
Wait a minute, Bitcoin's better, man. Don't we know that already?
Well, I was getting there, bro. You know, like, bro, like, like the king is king. You know what I mean? But it's all these like other, you know, side factors that they're, you know, it's very interesting. But yet again, these are all tools, and there's people working alongside with with like the back end stuff, and it's everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. It's very interesting, but there's there's a lot of talent out there, and
Yeah.
there's so if that makes sense.
Yep.
What I mean.
Yeah. So we just try to, one of our kind of main theses behind it all is, every blockchain kind of has a strength. Whether that strength is the culture, the community, whether it's the on-chain data integrity, whether it's smart contracts, tokenomics, etc. Each chain has something that they're optimizing for, and so we really want to leverage that in a way that Emblem allows you to access that strengths and kind of, again, right, even though this is a cliche, money Legos, right, take the asset to go experiment with whatever you want. For example, here I'll give you a simple example is, we had talked with Yuga Labs before, and they, they're in this kind of interesting position where they have, a Bitcoin ordinals collection, an art collection, but they're also building a game that's on Ethereum, right? So how do they bring those assets into the other side, right? And so here, if you put 12-fold in a vault, you can theoretically take it into other side. Again, I say theoretically because I don't know exactly how they're building it, right? But those are simple types of discussion where it's like, hey, I just want this asset in the game, right? Simply is like the kind of idea there. For artists, we've noticed that now as artists are beginning to explore and mint on other chains, ordinals, Solana, right? These L2s, they want it all in one area. They want it all in one gallery. And it seems like On Cyber seems to be the main one. And so to be able to put those in vaults and then hang it all in one area for their collectors to see, right? Even though that doesn't have a direct, you could say, financial impact, right? You're not speculating. You're actually just using it to have it all in one area. There's so many different use cases for it, and this is kind of the direction that it's going. I do want to call on Nick.eth. Oh, did you get off stage again? I keep trying to add you, and I think you might be able to be the speaker now, unless you're not on mobile. But I've hit the add speaker button like 40 times already, so I don't know what's going on over there. You might have to leave and come back if you are not on stage. It looks like it's not adding you. I don't know what the deal is.
I keep getting when we start the space, I keep accepting the co-host invite, and then it just rugs me completely. Probably rugging you, Nick. The only thing that worked was basically close out Twitter Spaces and then close out Twitter altogether, and then come back on your phone. That's the only way.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, yeah, just another couple of examples of how powerful this is. How many times have a new blockchain been spun up and there's a ton of action going on over there, but you don't want to go and create the wallet for it, get in depth with their ecosystem, but you see a few assets that you'd want to buy. And so if Emblem can get the tooling in, work with them, and then bring those assets over to Ethereum, over to ordinals, over to Solana, wherever it is, and it'll still kind of function within your parameters, within your workspace, within your wallets. So just eliminating those friction points there. And another big example is something like DGods and Utes. They moved from Solana to Ethereum. Utes went to Polygon. The community was in shambles. People wanted to go different places, and it was really expensive for them to move all over the place. And then Utes eventually left Polygon and moved to Ethereum. But then some of their community wanted to move back to Solana. And so the way that they're doing it is they're burning, reminting on all these different chains. With something like Emblem, it's literally just a one-click, friction-free move to the different chains. So it's really like a 0 to 1 technology, something that hasn't been created yet until now, and it's something super, super powerful. So I think everyone will kind of be more excited about it as we showcase the examples that we're playing to.
Yeah, we tried to get in contact with Frank multiple times, but maybe the decision was made already. Could have saved him a lot of time and effort there.
Imagine the headache, man, of trying to go back now, where you still have the old collection. You got to mint the new. Oh my God!
I hear they're trying to go back again. I guess the community's fragmented. I don't know for sure, but this is what I hear.
I mean, we knew that was gonna. We said that early, right? We knew that was gonna. You were going to get a fragmented communities. It's gonna happen. And then when people want to go back and you can't, it's going to be a disaster. And here we are, man. But so yeah, we solved that. We actually solved that. So hey, if there's any collection out there that wants to move off of whatever, off Ethereum onto Solana, reach out. Let's do this, man. Let's do it.
Simple. You don't got to destroy the provenance at all. And we've seen that. Through the historical NFT community. You're right. All the remints where they destroy the old token and then remint it on a new chain. That the value never transfers. No one ever gets along that. It's just we're making data-driven decisions, right? Instead of what we believe to be best. Although sometimes you do have to make some intuitive decisions, to say the least. But it's exciting. Tomorrow, we've learned a lot about migration, especially with Emblem migration. So we'll have a lot of updates about the Emblem migration tomorrow. I'm also discussing, our jump tool and like how this all kind of packages together. So if you've made it this far, man, just to recap it, we're launching our first cross-chain launchpad. We're calling it the Vault Pad. You're inscribing. The collection is called EmBells. It's a 10K generative project. The art is done by one of our favorite artists, Viva La Vandal. We're using Bellscribe, which was created by Graham Bells, who inscribed the first Bellinals. I think it's called Bellinals on Bells coin, right? And then Tree, who created and helped with the Stampunks decentralized mint, helped with our front end. So very collaborative opportunity. The cost will be about anywhere from 0.015 ETH to 0.02 ETH. So it comes out to anywhere between $30 to $45, depending on when you're minting with gas fees, right? The weekends I saw it last weekend, gas was 8 Gwei or something like that. So really you're paying about $30 then, right? So it's a little bit more expensive in terms of mint. We had to have a little bit of a wiggle room with the inscription costs. We weren't sure how much it would be. It's a 10K, right? So it'll probably take a little while to mint out, but it will be an Emblem collection and we will treat it as so. And then tomorrow during our town hall, highly advise everyone to go to the town hall tomorrow. We'll be unveiling a lot of stuff there, and we're going to make it a monthly event for the town hall as we gear this and get it all kind of wrapped up together. Again, Emblem legacy migration and all of that fun stuff. So Adam, any final thoughts here before tomorrow, where I have a nice PowerPoint presentation tomorrow? Nice one that I put a lot of work into. So I hope you guys, I'm a non-creative person, so design is terrible. So please do not make fun of me if the design of the PowerPoint is not, it's not met your expectations.
Dude, 2024 is shaping up to be the year, man. I hope the bull run happens this year because we're ready for it now. Like we're ready. Like, we've been talking about this for 6 months and it's like, we're here now. And I'm super pumped. EmBells first collection, which kind of highlights what we've been talking about and been literally dreaming about doing, is here. And so it's just couldn't be more pumped, psyched about it. And I'll see y'all in the Discord.
Yep. Again, look for the go into the EmBells, go into the Bells Coin Discord, go into the Emblem Discord. We will be posting that probably tomorrow, maybe around 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Eastern time. It'll come from Adam himself. So if anybody else posts any sort of links or anything, do not believe that. Only Adam will be posting the link. And then you could go, right? It'll be a race to, I guess, find the rares and all that stuff. We'll release all the metadata will be released after words as well, because we have to grab the IDs as they're inscribed, right, to prevent front running and all this other fun stuff. So a lot of fun stuff. Be here tomorrow or be square. And until then, guys, we will see you at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow.